For the last few days, I've just been on a road trip around the Blue Mountains in New South Wales. Anyway, I thought while I had all my gear on my bike, I might do a little bit of review of one particular bit of gear. This bag I have on the back here is the Dririder Explorer, and I bought this probably about a year ago now for the purpose of touring. The main thing that really attracted me to this bag was you can see it has like a U-shaped design. If I go around to the back, you'll be able to see. And it sort of like has these parts that hang down over the side of a gear rack, or you could put it over the back of the passenger seat. But that really kind of attracted me to this bag. Because I thought, okay, if I have a sports bike, I can stick it on the back of the seat and it'll hang on pretty nicely. So that was the first thing. After having this bag for about a year or so, I think I've come to a pretty good terms of what's good about it and what's not. The first thing I'll say is I think it's pretty good overall. The design that it has is quite durable and nice, and I think that when you have it on the back seat of the bike and have it all strapped down, it actually sits on there pretty nice and firmly, especially when you're going around corners or if you're going off-road and bouncing around a lot. The bag seems to be pretty secure. I've never had it fall off. The other thing I'll say is that it actually holds a lot more than you would think, because it has those little sort of pouches that hang down on the side of the gear rack. You can actually fit quite a lot in there. So if you're going camping and you have this bag and maybe another bag on, if you had, say for instance, this bag on the rear seat and then a top box or another bag on the back of the gear rack, you could probably, that would be about as much luggage as you would really need. So you could go touring on a sports bike like I am. Right now I have this bag on a gear rack on the rear of the motorcycle. So one thing I think that isn't too great about this bag is the system that comes for strapping it down. It has these sort of areas which you can thread a strap through for the purpose of tying it down, and there's actually two there. There's one longer one down here and then a shorter one across there. And the bag comes with a whole bunch of different straps that you can use to tie it down to things. That's not my preferable way to do it. What you can see that I've done is I bought these longer straps, which are just sort of like standard safety straps from a hardware store. And what I do is I thread them over the top of the bag, and there's two D-rings on the top of the bag here. I thread them over the top and then around the gear sack underneath. So the bag's really held on over the top rather than from down here, which I find to be much more secure, and it just gives me a bit of peace of mind. So the first downside is I think the average or the default strapping mechanism isn't really that good. As far as the durability of the bag, I think it's quite good. I've dropped this bike like several times with this bag on it, and the bike has fallen on the bag, and so far there's not really any damage so much that you can see on the bag at all. Maybe a little bit here and there, but basically it's quite durable. The one thing that I think is a bit of a downside to the bag is that the zips, in my opinion, are not up to the durability of the rest of the bag. I can show you if I can find it. Basically, the main zip for the bag that I had actually busted when I was on a road trip, which is fine. What happened was the zipper actually came apart from the main fabric of the bag down here, and what I've had to do is, if I can zoom in there, is to basically sew it back together. After that, it was fine. It's not a big deal. It was just a minor kind of flaw, but I think the zip quality isn't really that amazing. What else can I say about it? Okay, one thing it does, the bag actually comes with this, which is a which is a sort of rain cover, which is pretty good. I've had it on in the rain and it's fairly waterproof. It's not that incredible. For a brand called Dririder, you'd think it'd be a little bit better, but honestly, it's not that amazing. What I'll do is I'll put it on so I can show you. So this is what the rain cover looks like when it's on the bike. I think that it's actually quite good. It sort of covers over the top and then it has elastic around the bottom that helps to hold it on. I've had the cover on regularly riding and the elastic seems to hold it on quite well. It does blow in the wind, but that's what you'd expect. Generally speaking, it's pretty waterproof. What I tend to do is, when I'm camping overnight, I put the rain cover on and I tend to leave the bag on the bike. That way it's kind of waterproof, and if it rains in the night or it gets some dew, it doesn't really soak into the bag that much, and that seems to be worked pretty well for me so far. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say about this bag. So it retails for about 170 Australian dollars, I think is what I bought it for, and I probably got about maybe 2 months so far of road trips out of this bag, and it's going pretty strong. So I think I'll probably be using it for a couple more years. I'd recommend it, although I really haven't tried a whole lot of the other touring bags. Okay, ciao.